I told him it was obvious. I was done playing. I'm one of those guys that knew, junior, senior year, know what, there is a business in this. There is politics. You're not getting any taller. You're not getting any stronger. Like, it's shut it down. And you know what? You're actually, unfortunately or fortunately, you're smarter than a lot of people. So it's like, why are you going hell over hot water to, through the physical side of things, where if you literally just use these guys as vessels, you'll be fine. So it's like, that's where I decided that I wanted to be a coach, and that's where it was.
Well, it's the big show. Nate. The Black Guy They Got podcast is a new business and culture platform created to serve as a compass with an ultimate goal of helping talented and urbanly influenced creatives get potentially disruptive, new ideas, thinking and perspectives off the ground, out and into the world. Acronymed as The Big Show, this is not an interview. This is an exchange, which we hope will leave all listeners with realized game, perspective, inspiration, ideas, and insights that drive results. The Black Guy They Got podcast comes firsthand from a former athlete turned innovator, a multi-potentialite creative and entrepreneurial marketing mastermind, a Black Idea guy himself, Meg Allen Brown, and a range of dynamic guest features, each who are extremely gifted and talented within their own right. So today, I get the pleasure to bring another brother on, a good friend, a colleague, a mind, a perspective, and also to someone that's a former athlete himself, right? I mean, he probably may argue he's still a good kid, a bucket or two, but it's a good friend of mine, my boy Rell Coleman, on the platform with us. Rell, say what's up.
How you doing? What's up? Good to see you guys.
It's a pleasure to have you on the platform, but previous to even acknowledging, we have to dap up. It's just it's all customary. All tradition. That's all for the people.
This dap right here, this is a real one right here. This is what everybody does too. I don't know why you don't use dap if you're just going to keep dapping. Why not dap?
Hey man, it's only right. It's only right, and also it's like,
I can't dap you without hands saying I don't know your dirty ass hands, man.
It's just people just got to know that. Shout out to Big Sean too. I love this drop.
That was a bar right there.
It's a bar, big bar.
Definitely honored to be on here, man. Like I said, it's amazing not only to just see what you're doing, but all of the ventures that you do, everything that you actually get into. I love to see it. It's intriguing. It's interesting, and just listening to that pledge, that's you right there. So that's organic, and it makes perfect sense of, why this is called what it is and why make is make. It's fire right there. And there goes the drop.
And this is also shared real estate, because you're gonna be dropping some bars. I might drop a couple gems or two along this journey to the finish for this exchange for the people out there. And if you feel like in your big make energy, because we all makers, people got to know too, like make, I'm just the representative. I'm just the conduit that steps forth, but we all are make, right? Everybody, right? Everybody in studio here, G, Luck, LaTroy, we all here, we're make. Like, so it's just make energy. So if you feel like you get in your bag, know what I'm saying? Like,
I might have to tell yo, man, drop the joint for me. Okay.
Like, make sure they feel it.
Okay.
So, Rell, what's interesting about this podcast today is like, me being a former athlete, I'm not gonna say a former athlete, I'm still an athlete, but like a competitive basketball player, right? In the former. This is the first pod that I've actually gotten to like talk strictly on that, because you step forth as a representative of that industry, right? Like you're someone that is involved into college sports, right? Like sports at multiple levels, right? High school, college sports, and you're now getting into like the business side of that, right? Which is something that's very new, right? For decades, college athletes have been trying to vie for like getting compensated for their skill, their likenesses, their image, their name, and whatever they're doing on the college landscape. And for someone that has had experience, which I'm going to allow you to open us to tell us about your experience in the space, it's just something new. So I think like bringing you on the platform is informative, and it's interesting for my audience out there to really know like, yo, this NIL, the name, image, and likeness business for college athletes, high school athletes, and pretty much athletes at an amateur level. This is groundbreaking. This is new territory we're talking about.
Right.
So it's a privilege to have you to really enlighten me, because I know I've listened to podcasts on it. I've listened to read a couple articles, but like, you're in it, and you just got a company that is dedicated to this, to this landscape. So we hope to learn a lot more. So like, for sure. In that space, like, kind of what's your background in like the sports arena?
So it was the beauty of it, starting out here, playing in New Jersey. We're the mecca of basketball. They say it's New York, but
Jersey just different.
It is what it is.
Jersey just different.
Jersey basketball is really where it all started for me. And Dan Hurley went out to University of Rhode Island. Right after that, I met him out there, and started off as a manager 2 years. Did another 2 years as special assistant operations. Went through 2 more years of just graduate assistant, and director of basketball operations, sports management. Just so it was all the way through the ranks. Did the player development realm, and then right there in that player development realm and on the logistics side of just in college basketball, that's where you really just see the ins and outs of not only just the business, but the things that the kids are missing. So it was just, it was bigger than being with them for an AAU trip or just listening to your guys, have a story. It's day in and day out. You're seeing the things that they're missing, or just, the amount of money that's coming in through college that they're actually not benefiting from.
Right.
So they say that, kids go to school for free and, they get all of these privileges. But when you look at their day to day and, how they're, not to say used, but how it's done, there's millions of dollars for everybody. And if they just could get some type of, knowledge about it and someone to guide them in that way that's been on both sides of the fence, they'll be able to do it a little bit different.
So you're coming in not even just as like see, the thing is, what I'm hearing across the table right now is you're just not coming in trying to scrape a little bit of this big opportunity that's coming in where like people are looking at it as a cash grab. You're an advocate.
Yeah, the money is irrelevant. Just because at the end of the day, you'll get a kid or 2 or 3 or 4, or just, you might have a pool of guys that no matter the money that they come in, but it's a 20% or whatever that cut is, that means nothing, because the way that you can actually change their life with the education piece, letting them know about real estate, letting them know where to put their money. We're getting CPNs to be able to help guys. We're trying to really combine with a lot of different industries where it's bigger than, just, a dollar amount to pay for a post, and then, you get some free merch and then you keep it going. We want to do a little bit more where it's more knowledge. We still want to tackle the philanthropy side of things, help guys with camps, help guys actually start AAU teams if they want to do it. And then that's going into, the sports management side of things where.
All right, let me listen, because you're going.
It could get crazy.
You're going. Let me reel it back in. I mean, the fishing line is in the ocean. Let me reel them in. All right. So you're saying we, right? You're saying we. You're saying these are the things that we're doing. These are the things that we aim to do. And I think that there's a structure that you've built and designed, right, that you operate under that we haven't even really told the people yet. So, I mean, all the great things that you just mentioned, it's solid, right? It's solid work. So now, what is the representing organization around this?
So it's Real World New Rules, and it's actually
what is Real World New Rules?
So it's a sports management company, part NIL distribution. So it's.
I want to stop right here because I actually have my bachelor's degree in sport management. I just want to say that. No, we got let them know. But it's crazy. I actually never really used my degree. I just been hustling since I graduated college.
Yeah, and I would hate to tell you, but I don't have a degree in sports management.
Hey, well, so, the roles reversed and you winning.
It happens. But yeah, no, it's which is a conspiracy theorist in its of itself, just about going to school for getting a certain degree, and that's what you're supposed to do. Like
I went to school to network, and my network is dense now, so God is good. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what we doing. Hey, this is why we here.
Yeah, and my family's big on education, but my mom would know I went to school for basketball.
You go.
I needed to learn basketball. I got my degree in basketball. Like it was school and grades and everything. That did help, but being in those works and day in and day out, with the camp that I came from, that was really the thing that really drove me home and learned some of my deepest principles.
So let me ask you, because you dropped a name earlier that I think our audience might have brushed over, and they don't really know about the name that might have like given you an opportunity or taken you in. So you mentioned Dan Hurley, right? Like we can't just
that's big time.
You know what I'm saying? We
Yeah.
can't just brush past
Right.
Dan Hurley. Like I don't think, and as Black Idea guys, we also gotta know, like, we've been in rooms, we've been access to certain people that people may not know the magnitude of what it means to be in a stable with these types of names. So Dan Hurley, who is Dan Hurley, and how did you get into cahoots with Dan Hurley at where you were, which I wanted people to know also.
So it's like, so first and foremost, just the Hurley name in general, he's one of the pillars of New Jersey basketball, not just him, but his brother Bobby, and then Big Hurley himself, Hurley Senior himself. That was St. Anne's basketball. Either as a player first, let me recognize him as a player first. Even to see his film, to go back, Google him, just to see what he did for not only for Seton Hall and for himself and for his family, but the way he's able to just teach the game. He's a mastermind at basketball.
Yeah.
He lives it every day.
Any stories that when you was in a huddle you seen like glimpse of greatness? Like I need a story. I need an experience firsthand. Like you gotta tell me something mind blowing.
There's a million. It's just what it is though, man. It's really not a story with Dan. It's literally just to see his work ethic every day, just to see his approach to the game every day. It's just he means what he says. And he's not. It's hard to describe, how he uses his words and how he uses his energy, because it actually is something that you end up consuming and you believe it, no matter what the methods is. Like the things that you see on TV, that's not it. Like it's not. They don't think that that's just him running around. That's passion. That's the day in and day out. Like when he says that he's one of the hardest working guys. I haven't seen everybody work, but to see him day in, day out, really grind and just be he's a genius, man. Like he's like I see they call him a carpenter for a reason. Like he's able to come into any realm and actually just build it, starting from, at St. Benedict's, like the Hurley family, they started off at St. Anthony's, but he went on to actually coach at Benedict's, and that's where my brother played for him at. And that's how I was first, introduced to him and around him, because I was actually in the younger grades of St. Benedict's also. So I was able to see him there. And then after that, he was actually at Wagner first, and I was interested at going to Wagner, but it was within the same time that I transferred over going into my senior year, and I knew he would end up at Rhode Island. So, it was a match made in heaven. By the time he was in Rhode Island, went down to visit, we spoke. I told him it was obvious. I was done playing. I'm one of those guys that knew, junior, senior year,
right.
know what, there is a business in this, there is politics. You're not getting any taller. You're not getting any stronger. Like, it's shut it down. And you know what? You're actually, unfortunately or fortunately, you're smarter than a lot of people. So It's like, why are you going hell over hot water to, through the physical side of things, where if you literally just use these guys as vessels, you'll be fine. So it's like, that's where I decided that I wanted to be a coach, and that's where it was. So I went down to Rhode Island, and that's where, we had that conversation. He told me, as long as I actually, sit there, listen, paid attention, and, did it the right way, I would be okay, and he gave me that one opportunity, and it was actually, getting in and learning just what it is, because I started off as a manager. It's not like I was, a walk-on or I hooped in D1, any of that. I was a manager, so I really had to, it started with the rebound and the pickups, the drop-offs, the making sure everybody's getting their laundry done, the class checks, and, all of that. So it was really just starting to instill a work ethic in me, knowing, boom, beat him into work, wait till he leave. You can't leave till he leave. Like, it was just, that was the other thing that was really cool about him too. The rule of thumb was to get into work first, and then you be last. Like, and he puts in his time. So if he's up every day and he's getting in at 7, 8 because he's on a schedule and he's serious about everything that he does, you just automatically you fall right in line. Like, he is one of those greats. He's the same. It's almost to the same magnitude of, as they talk about with Kobe, how he started off in Vegas and he's up early at 5. Then you start to see the big dogs get up at 5. Now everybody's there. Like, it's just, he's that. Like, he really is that. He's that.
So how long were you under his sort of, like, I want to say, like, in his pedigree?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah, so I did 7 with him and then 3 with David Cox, who's also, just as elite. But with Danny, I was with him for 7, And then, like I said, I've known them since yay high. So it's always been a close relationship. The family's good with my mom. My mom is still the same way as if I was playing. So she comes to all of the games. She travels everywhere. It's Jersey basketball, man. We just took it out to Rhode Island. It was dope.
So one thing I think like I observe, right? Because not only, as a former athlete, played competitive, played at many different levels, but like I think guys like us, that had the wherewithal to really equip on some intellect as we were athletes, we kind of saw the game differently, right? So like as we transcended and got out of the active playing phase and we were more on the side of trying to manage or steer or guide other athletes from where we might have come from, we see like the recruiting process, right? So the recruiting process, I think, is something that's very interesting because players don't end up in colleges that really don't fit them. It's the ego in players that will get them into school thinking that they can go and make the school what they want the school to be. But the school, I remember I had a coach that told me one time, like players don't go to Duke and Duke makes the player. It's the player that has to be up to the par to make Duke as great as what it is, right? So in the recruiting process and seeing that, right, like what makes a player equipped to go to certain schools in your opinion?
Well, aside from the talent, it really is about relationships. That's really how we were able to really drive a lot of things home. Because with the everybody else culture, everybody says they have a culture, and which you may have, but within your culture is really important, the things that you want to instill in guys. So like it was deeper than just, making sure that we run some plays so they can actually get to the next level and then just score the ball or something like that. So it actually was the day in learning how to grind, learning how to be there, doing some things off the court. And I was fortunate enough to actually be a part of actually creating the community service outreach and doing the philanthropy things and just being with those guys day in and day out off the court, which was able to, help them as they were helping me. So it was the recruiting thing was it was interesting. It was interesting because everybody has their own different bells and whistles too. Like it's really up to like if you're a guy that's coming in that's looking for, the 24/7 practice facility, the big time this, the big time that, like there may be certain schools that's not for you, whether it's in the Power 5 or, in the Big 7 of the conferences. It's no matter the conference, but there's different schools, that's tailor-made to guys. But, where you 9 times out of 10, that's why the portal was so crazy, the NCAA portal was so crazy because rarely do you find it on the first time, or you think like you said, you have that idea of you're going to come into a school and make it like this and have it like that. And when it's not like that, the first thing you do is push the button and you enter the portal. So it's definitely tough to find you a fit, but that's why I think that was the good thing. Or that's why I believe Dan and both Coach Cox are both, great recruiters because they hone in more on the relationships and actually getting to know the family, getting to know, what'll make a person tick, what gets them going, and what do they actually need to build up, their strengths. Like that was the biggest.
I want to ask you about a school that has a run like St. Peter's did, right? Small school, right? Jersey-based, shout out to Jersey City, right? When you put guys together in a small school like that, what happens in that locker room? What happens in that system that enables a small town team, right? A small school from a small conference to ascend in the national tournament? Like, is it just like all the other Power 5 conferences players are just too big-headed? They're like sleeping on them? Like, what really happens in that smaller locker room that allows that team to try to make a splash like St. Peter's did in the run last year?
I think more than anything, it's the culture and the synergy. Like, first, actually, shout out to, Shaheen Holloway, because, like, 1, that's a St. Pat's guy. 2, he's always been a mastermind. And 3, that's another black brother that's, fighting that race and really making it do what it do.
Making it do what it do. Yes,
so
sir.
Shout out to Shah first. He really instilled, like we talked about, he really instilled the culture and a way about them that it didn't matter where they were at or who they were playing. They firmly believed in themselves and what they did day in and day out. You could just see that they had that confidence about them. It wasn't about anything else, and then you look at where they came from. Again, those are a lot of Jersey, New York guys that come from different type of backgrounds that really had to they know what it's like, but it's not just down 10 to them isn't really down 10 in real life. Like
Right.
they know what it looks like. So, they were actually able to just come together, believe in each other, and they had a way about them that sometimes it just takes over you,
Yeah. I mean, I know the vibe. I definitely know the vibe, and I think like it's crazy because you'll look at a school like that, and you can make the assumption from the outside looking in that these guys probably aren't absorbed into like the social media hype as some of the other players that may have this perception or may have this appeal from the outside looking in. And social media is so big now.
Yeah.
Social media plays a big part of the sports landscape. It ties a lot of things together. And I think even with NIL, right, name, image, and likeness, social media is a big driver of that because a lot of these players are getting deals where they got to promote whatever product, said service, or organization on social media. So like within the social media landscape and NIL, what are some things that you see, right? Being someone that is stepping forth as like a sort of like a leader in the space. How does social media kind of change everything and create these new opportunities?
What I'm starting to realize the most, or what I don't want, the actual company to be solely based on or to be driven home by, is just that everything is either pay for post or it's merch to pay. Like it's just, that's the only way that social media, like if you have that blue check, that's value to you. It's the same thing just as it is in any other entity. And what it is, what a lot of people are doing now is just genuinely having guys just, it's, you got certain amount of posts depending on your reach and how many followers you have. It's scaled on how much they'll pay you, and there goes that cash cow. But because everyone's trying to do it, like that side of the business it's almost like you have to turn into a marketing agency too. So it's like you're better off in having someone in-house that's able to do it, or outsourcing, handling the social media side of things. Because if you're looking at focusing solely on the dollar amount for them to come in through pay for posts or whatever it is on the social media side, it's hard to do the philanthropy. It's hard to do, making sure their actual accounts are ran. It's hard still doing the education. So, there's 4 or 5 different sectors that you have to really sit down and look at and wonder what's the most important for a guy. Because now, like, say, for instance, a kid that could be playing football in a lower level, his reach may not be the same as a kid that's playing basketball in a Power 5 level. So they wouldn't get the same amount of money, but it would still be the same type of post. So everybody doesn't get the same amount of, it's not, the social media thing isn't for everybody because everybody doesn't have the reach. So you have to I'm finding now that you have to find other ways for those guys to actually have the income or the revenue, because unless you're, the cream of the top 50 guys that's, they're getting, that's just a whole nother different conversation.
Right.
So we're focusing solely more so on guys that's more in that mid-range realm to that high level that still, wants to hone more in on their community, and it's bigger than just, chasing the dollar.
So I think it's interesting. I think definitely that niche talent that you try to provide the service to is it's a lot more of them than it is the cream of the crop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you have a much larger pool to choose from or to create and supply your services to than like the top, these like top blue chip talents. But at the same time, I think it's like, how do you convince the players that you're going after that they're not to say convince, but how do you tell the players that you're going after that they're not that player? Because everybody thinks they're LeBron.
Yeah.
Like everybody thinks they're about to be the next LeBron, right?
Right. But the fact of the matter is, you hone in on, or you let them tell you what they really want to focus on, what's really big to them, what are they looking at, when the ball stops or while the ball is still going. You really ask them what do they need help with and what are they really interested in with. And along that, you start to you don't just tell them that they're not the LeBron of the world, but you let them know that this is what's available to you. Yeah, like there's more than just playing. Like you are just bigger than just the athlete. So with that, they're able to they start looking in the mirror themselves to realize, oh, well, yeah, I probably am just going to end up going like that. There's 1 million people overseas. Right. And they make a lot of money overseas too. But with being overseas, there's things that need to be taken care of over home. And that's why we start them with the NIL, and then we transition them into the sports management side of where we're helping them, whether it's get a home somewhere or just on a day-to-day concierge level. So it's interesting, it's brand new, and trust me, it's an uphill battle, but like that's why this is actually the amazing place to actually sit and talk about it, because it's an idea that it's now just starting to come about, and it's starting to form where if we stick with it, and I keep saying we because it's not just me, you know, it's the players, it's my partners and everybody. So if we stick with it, you know, it could be something really important, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's not just like you said. It's not just the sports management side. It's also like hospitality.
Right. That's what I said. Day-to-day concierge. Yeah.
Like y'all are doing a lot to just be the kind of go-tos and guidance for talent. So I think there's a level of like, okay, let's talk about the level of trust you have to have, right? Like what type of personality type, what type of like lifestyle does one have to have in order to get talent to like trust you enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go with these guys over here.
Right. It's like I said, it started with that same, you know, that blueprint that Dan and Coach Cox had back at URI. You know, it was really, you know, getting to know them, letting them actually open up and tell you the things that they feel like they need help in, and you know, actually just groundbreaking and being organic. I don't need to sell you a dream. You're living your dream already. You're already doing the things that you want to do. I'm only here to help. If you want the help, I'm here. If not, I'm not begging anybody. I'm not running down on anybody. Right. So it's literally just me building as if you're one of my guys, and I've been, you know, on both sides of the realm. So I have no reason to lie, and there's no capital gain for me to get it because, again, like I said, I'm not looking at the 20% cuts and everything else that when it's all said and done, you know, that'll be there. But the bigger piece is actually breaking some of these curses that we got going on just in our community.
What are some of the things you think are flawed about high school athletes transitioning to college that you're like, yo, it's a dirty game over there. Like, yo, nah, I can't get you. You won't cross over into doing this because that's just immoral. Like, what are just like some wrong things? Like, honestly, I got my thoughts about some, and I think I would step forward to say that it's in how many trainers we have now, right? Like, it's in like everybody's a trainer. Everybody's trying to get closer to the kid from the training stands, and a lot of them are just making up some weird drills that look good on Instagram, but it's not really like progressively teaching a talent how to be nice, how to fundamentally be good at the sport, right? So I think like that's something that I'm like, damn, like, yeah, I know you're positioning yourself as a trainer, but like you're not really doing it. And I think a lot of it is more for the cash grab.
Yeah. And, you know, the biggest transition or the biggest issue that, you know, they have from, you know, from high school going into college is really just not getting that instant gratification and then adjusting to the speed of the game, because it's just the X's and O's, the terminology, everything is so much faster, so much heightened. And you're now back, not necessarily at the bottom of the food chain, but you're now younger than everybody. So you have to get up to speed and you have to understand, you know, what it's like to be a college athlete, because the day-to-day is extremely busy and extremely, you know, different from, you know, your typical high school day. So them actually learning what it is to be a actual college student is probably their biggest difference, and then just not wanting that instant gratification, because nobody really hits the ground. Well, seldomly there's a lot of guys hit the ground running in college. They actually they have some growing pains, and they got to know that it's just not, because growing up with us, you know, it wasn't just you wait your turn or you go out and get it. Now it's you more, if I can't fit in when I get in, you know, like I said, I'm out. I'm gonna hit the button. Yeah, I'm going I'm out. I'm going straight to the portal. So, right. So that's the biggest thing.
So college. So I might be removed a little bit from the college sport and like the college dynamic, but like this portal, right? The idea of the portal. Yo, players could play in college up to like how many years now?
Because of COVID,
it's mad year. It's not It's not like 5. You get a red shirt. You can play like 7 years.
No, something
crazy.
So that was only because of the COVID year. So
how does that work? Explain this COVID year shit.
So the COVID year, they basically just said like that year didn't count because so many games were getting canceled because people weren't playing full seasons. They basically just gave everybody a free year that year. So if you were a freshman that year, you're a freshman again the next year. Like this, that COVID year didn't count. So you had guys that were probably already a fifth year senior, and then the COVID year came, so then they ended up getting another year, and then they ended up playing 6 years. Or it may be somebody that was a fifth year senior, and then they applied for another year because they got hurt. They got that year granted, and then COVID year hit. So then they were able to still keep that year.
7 years. Damn.
Yeah, so it was ridiculous, but it's now starting to even back out because the COVID's, well, it's not starting to flush, but the counting towards the classes is starting to go through now where it's starting to get back to itself.
Okay. I was always curious about that.
Yeah, the COVID year was different. It was different.
So let me ask you a question. I think my mom, I be asking questions that I know people be thinking about that they just don't be asking. But like, yo, you think Paulo Banchero actually went to class? Like these Chet Holmgren, you think those guys really going to class or they just hooping all day?
So it depends on the kid. It depends on the kid because
when you at that level, it depends on you. Like you could be like, yo, bro, I'm not going. I'm out to the league next year, bro.
Like you would have to go or in some form or fashion apply some type of work for the first semester, but after the first semester, you're good.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Because even if you're academically ineligible, you're going into the draft.
You're getting to the draft.
Yeah, so it's not like you were going to school anyway. So
okay,
a lot of those guys they go for that first half, if that. But then again, too, you got other guys that are actual just students, and not only of the game, but they're into their books too, so
yeah,
they do very much. I'm telling you, it's a lot of that stuff really be about what does the really kid want and what is he focused on. Because if you could get a kid that really he has his stuff in order and he's not really searching this or chasing social media that, and he's by the book, he could go anywhere, he'll be fine. But it's those kids that they want this or that they're looking at that, and once they don't get it, that portal, they just hit the portal.
I had a question in regards to the high school athlete that is getting into college, but that might have like an NIL deal. So let's say a high school athlete gets endorsed by a company, or let's say they get a shoe deal, right? Let's say they get a brand, an apparel brand that may not be supported by the school of choice. Do they have to cut their contract with this company in order to attend that school, or like does the school change?
No, they just wouldn't be able to wear it on court. Like,
okay,
he can have that deal, but when they're doing actual university stuff, he has to be in, because that's actually something that they tell you, or that's in your letter of intent, or when you sign to the school, that's part of you have to abide by not only their apparel rules, but if there is speaking engagements you have to go to, philanthropy stuff, like those things are in that write up, and just no one really pays attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
What do you see some of the things that college athletes are most intrigued or most interested in doing in terms of NIL? Like what types of deals or what types of opportunities do you see? Do you think or have you experienced more college athletes like, yo, can you get me into this over here? Like, can you get me into these types of opportunities? Like, is there like something is there something consistent that you see a lot of upcoming college talent wanting to get their feet wet in?
It's pretty spread out. A lot of it is on apparel. They do want some.
They want the gear. Everything.
Yeah,
everybody
wants
wants
some
gear.
custom apparel that's kind of to them that they like. And then the other thing that's big to them is actually just having some type of service for them. Like whether it's just somebody that they're able to set up some day-to-day operations for them, or just for them to, if they need somebody to come in, take pictures, do videos, you just want to be able to call somebody, have them set that up, and then they'll be around. Which that's not actual. That's the unique part about what we're doing, because we're doing the NIL side of things, but we're almost gearing them or shifting them into becoming actually our sports management clients too, after the NIL side of things. Mm-hmm. But they'll know what to do with their money and how to work their money, because through the NILs, they were able to get that knowledge.
And I think that many times, I tell a lot of people that want to start into a new business, right? People ask me, like, how do they become an authority, or how do they like make this splash onto the scene? And I always tell them, like, yo, show people your knowledge, educate, right? Lead with the education that you actually know what the hell you're talking about, right? And no one can try to trump your knowledge if it's viable, if it's really practical, and you can execute at that knowledge. So the fact that you're educating a lot of the potential clientele that you're going to get on how they can be successful in the space, that right there is going to make y'all even much more of an authority.
Right. Yeah. And it was almost too. It was good that a lot of things that a lot of guys are into is the the real estate side of things and getting into trucks and real estate are really big right now in our community. So it was almost it was a match made in heaven to bring my partner Sam Alpern because what he's doing, my man right there, what he's doing in Rhode Island and just not even just in Rhode Island, across the board with Alpern and Messenberg and with Hoops and Houses, it's actually it's amazing because we're able to teach them what the real estate looks like, what the business is like, and then we're also able to help them get placed anywhere they're at too. So let's say if you're a kid that you graduate, you play, now you're playing G League with the Hawks, and then you're done, and then you got to go play with the Magic. We can place you right into another place where you don't have to go look for rent. The same way you have just one sports agent that's talking and doing all your deals, that's the same way with us. You'll have one concierge service that you need to go to that'll take care of everything that you need.
That's actually huge. Like, that's actually huge. I think that this industry and the space is so new that y'all coming in and having this niche in that service offering is gonna make y'all like a pillar, like the go-to authority in that space. I think that's really smart. That's a big idea, man. That's how we do it. That's a really big idea. That's dope. So like when it comes to like getting a bag, right? Getting a bag as an athlete, right? Like these players are getting paid upwards of like, what's the most you've seen a player get for their name, image, or likeness?
Well, what's going on with those Power 5 schools is ridiculous. Like a car deal could be within the millions. You see guys walk away with $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 deals, and it's all either from actual just them actually getting the cash or them actually getting the good that's worth that dollar amount. So I see you guys getting cars. I see you guys getting an actual a bag. Like it's definitely out there, but it's really all about where you're going, who you are, and how marketable you are. Like it's it's real. It's what it is: name, image, and like it's how. What can your name do? Who are you, and how likable are you? So it's interesting. It's interesting, and it's definitely an uphill battle for sure because it's so new. So everybody's scrambling right now, and you don't look at where the dollar amount is coming from. So it's tough to invest, but at the same time, that if you get the players, you'll be able to get the market. Everybody's just trying to figure out the market right now.
Right.
And it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yo, it's so crazy because I get excited. I sit up in my chair when I talk about name, image, and likeness because it screams branding to me, right? And for me to be such the branding like enthusiast that I am, I'm just like, damn, like I just got so many ways of trying to partner and co-package deals for like these talents and like ways that they may not see how marketable they are for this particular brand, how to bring that together. Like, and I think that, I remember like when we were when I was like in high school early on, I think when I was going from 8th grade into 9th grade, previous to like me actually playing high school sports and like trying to be on a recruiting circuit and whatnot, one of the things that made someone more marketable was community service, right? Like, joining this club in school. What are some things that make a talent as marketable as they can be to start soliciting some of these deals, right?
It's actually, being open to interviews, being open to podcasts, and just being active. It's always good to be active in your community, even if it's something small, as if it was, going to Pop Warner games, going back to the schools that you went to. Everybody's going to allow you to talk to them. Everybody's going to allow you to just see and hear your day-to-day. So being active, actually, cleaning up your social media is extremely important. You really do got to watch a lot of the things that you put on social media. And then just also being open and available to doing things and being able to talk to fans and being organic, Like it's one kid, that's from the area and just he works guys out. He's on the phone all the time. He's checking in on our games. He posts their top 10 of the plays. Like he's all about actually, just community, and he believes in himself, So a lot of people gravitate towards that, and a lot of people actually are interested to see, his next move and what he's into, and that's actually what gravitated me towards him also. So it's cool. It's cool.
Yo, I think this is like, yo, you really know your shit. Like you know this.
Yeah, it's a
this, bro.
Like I said, it's I've been on both sides for so long. Like
Right.
I haven't really had another job per se or had to do something else. Like, Rhode Island and the situation that I was in out there, that actually, I went out there a kid at 17, 18, and then, to come back now at 26, I actually did have to turn into a man out there. Like, that's where I figured it out. That's where I had to learn business, and that was the only business that I've known. So it's almost, this is it. Like, this is just me, and that's where I'm at.
So here's an interesting question, I think, for businesses that want to tap into NIL, right? Because it's one thing from the athlete side, right? But also as an entrepreneur, as entrepreneurs, as as growing businessmen and women out here that might see that, aspiring talent, but we might be a small little mom and pop shop or something. Does NIL tap into every business or just like small, medium, large business? At what scale can a business tap into the NIL and be able to like get a player under their arm to promote?
So it's really, I personally think it's for any business, because like, let's say we could use DAP for instance. If
let's I love using
like
DAP.
if we,
I love DAP references.
Like if we look at DAP, whether you want to call that a huge or a mom and pop shop, wherever you want to put that level at, it's literally something where you could buy into a NIL. You sign a kid, you let him know, hey, maybe not every game, but on your home games, you just got to have DAP on the table before you sub in. Boom, you got to hit the DAP, and you let that marketing agency know, or you let that marketing group know that's at that school, while we're taking our pictures, which they're going to do anyway. DAP will be there. That gets the going about it, and then you let them know, the posts that you need on the post, the speaking engagements are always important, and then actually just getting him to, push the product forward. That's where you would get in, but you could do that with anything. Like that's from a hand sanitizer to, if you're a nutrition company, instead of them eating the Nutri-Grain bars that they eat during the game or at halftime or when they're late to practice or when we're doing 2-a-days and they got something in the morning. If you have the nutrition bar in there,
right,
they keep eating the nutrition bar. You're paying them to eat the nutrition bar. Their strength coaches now looking like, well, damn, y'all not eating the nutrition bars that we get. What are y'all eating?
Right.
The guys are saying, yo, nah, coach, we got to grab this. We got to grab this.
Right.
Now they end up buying that nutrition bar, and then your business is sick off. And it's the same thing with the DAP. There's going to be hand sanitizer anyway.
Right.
If there's hand sanitizer that your whole team is signed to, you end up tapping into the market of the school, and now they're buying DAP too.
So damn, that's actually powerful. It's extremely powerful because I don't think a lot of small businesses see that roadmap. Like they don't know that all it takes is those small ripples in the water to create the wave, right?
Yeah.
You got to get in there and become visible. So that's actually really cool. Have you seen any partnerships that didn't make sense? Like partnerships with players that just were promoting things. You're like, yo, why? Like this doesn't fit your personal brand.
Yeah, well, you would see. Well, it hasn't been too bad where you would see like some guys like promoting like a tobacco company or something like that. Like guys have been really like meticulous.
Maybe baseball players, right? The chewing.
Yeah, but now that would be NIL though. Those are adults. They could promote whatever they want. They could do Monster. They could do that. But now if you're like, let's say you're a kid that's big on health and fitness and stuff like that, you probably wouldn't take a Monster deal,
right?
Because that's kind of two different sides of the spectrum. So it's really about I haven't really seen too much where you would see a kid, like I said, the tobacco one is the big one, or somebody promoting. You can't say, all right, if X player scores over 20 points, then everybody gets $3 off, or fucking you get free beer, or vodka Sprites are $5 on Wednesday nights when Joey scores 30. Like you can't take that deal. That's a bad idea.
Right.
But now if you see something where now if you hit 5 free throws, 6 free throws, and then it's $2 off a taco from the place that's up the street that everybody goes to on campus, that's perfect. You end up getting your signature sandwich in there, and then that way that's a good take.
Damn, yo, I think that there's gonna be, might be a big idea, but I think that there needs to be some sort of like like brand centric like a branding company that can make these that can create these campaigns, that can create these promotions.
Right.
Literally, like if a small business needs a clever idea, they need to call this said company or a company within this category that can create them or drum them up some sort of promotion for this talent right here. I think like this space is so new that if someone comes forth to provide that, similar to how y'all are providing the services y'all are providing at Real World New Rules, is like, it's crazy. Like it really is wide open right now.
Right. And what you want to really do is, well, what we're aiming and what we're working on is actually having a collective where we do have, various businesses, whether it's, like I said, like I mentioned before, when we look at, taking care of the financial side of things, we want to make sure there is a CPN, somebody that does know how to do the taxes, somebody that's looking at making sure setting up an LLC and making sure that their camp books are right, their T-shirt stuff is right, their merchandise is right. So we want to have people that's able to do that. And then when you look at having a real estate, we have that sector taken care of. Then when we look at, doing health and wellness, you want to be able to go to said company to go here and get that. When you're looking at the nutrition, you go with the TEF and you get the TEF for your nutrition. So we want to have somebody in literally every industry where you just come to us, you tell us what you need, and then we could just outsource it to anybody that's in our collective. And the way that you get into the collective, you buy into the collective to have, access to the market of our players that helps you, in turn market your business.
That's smart. Yeah. That's very smart.
It's interesting. It's an uphill battle, but like I said, it's something that can actually, it has potential to really take off. And if you get in now, it's almost like you're not doing anything wrong by seeing what's going on with it now. Because it's so new, there's nobody really breaking ground, and colleges are just now starting to actually hire people to do it too. So it's like, if you could get in now, figure it out, and then get the play, because a lot of people don't have the relationships with their players or the personality. So if you have that in the business side of it, it's almost it'll be no brainer.
Do you think that there's with the growing Web3 landscape, right? NFTs, you got cryptocurrencies, digital currencies. How are y'all gonna? Is there any effort to try to expand into those digital atmospheres?
Yeah, I think it would be ideal, and that's actually something that I was talking to with my partner Sam about. I want to say last week when we just spoke. When we look at just setting up not only just the merchandise, website, or having them with a website and just not their merch on there. It'll be, if there's speaking engagements they need to do, if there is, one-on-one online workouts you want to follow, you can follow that. But you also, they have their NFTs or their virtual, cards where they're able to actually sell those, and you can use them as a collector's item. Because if you look at alumni or a lot of, people that are fans of the college rank, they like to collect things from that school or from their favorite players. So those would be collectibles for just the normal alumni that season ticket holders will always buy the NFT from that school that they're at.
Yo, I got an idea. And honestly, every college in the NCAA, NIIA might have to, the high school, they might have to give me 10% for this.
What
you ready for this?
What you got?
You ready for this, G-Luck? You ready for this, Troy Watkins? Yeah, you ready for this, bro? This is one of them ones, bro. I think that, okay, so I'll use basketball, for example, right? Every 1,000 point night that a player has, the school should document it differently than just putting it on that antiquated banner that they hang in the gym. I think that moment, that night, needs to be packaged digitally into an NFT. And you can buy this player's 1,000 points night, right? That'd be crazy, right? Imagine
you see that highlight too,
and you could see the point
bucket. Yeah.
You could see the actual bucket that they scored their 1,000 point on and own that moment in this small collection. I think that'd be crazy.
That would be tough,
right? Like if my son, my daughter, right, everybody in my family would have their NFT from their 1,000 point. You could see their highlight moment, that 1,000 point.
And that would sell. That would definitely sell.
Easily.
That would definitely sell.
So hey man, ideas are my thing, bro. That's what we do here, brother. That's what we do here,
Next thing you know, I'm gonna be on the Zoom, and then I'm gonna tell them, we're actually doing NFTs too. Once you get your 1,000, we're gonna have that.
Listen, Listen,
plug you though.
That's love. I just think that that needs to exist. Like, why wouldn't that exist? I remember. I mean, granted, I didn't score 1,000, but I remember when this kid. Shout out to my homie Darius Watkins. So I went to Albertus Magnus College. We were top 3 in D3. So the year we made the NCAA Sweet 16, my boy, leading scorer in the team. This kid was talented, bro. 6'6", 2-guard shooter, nice. Like, you know, just like underlooked. He should have not been D3. Right. You know how you got those players. It's like, yo, how did you end up here?
Yeah, for sure.
How, bro? What went wrong? And funny, believe it or not, I played against Duncan. Duncan Robinson was D3. He was in my conference.
Wow.
Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, I knew he was D3. I didn't know he was that same conference. So now, was he like? Did you look at him then and say,
bro,
what is he doing?
Bro, Duncan Robinson, bro. Duncan Robinson was, bro. Duncan Robinson was like that, bro. I'm like, when we played him, they knocked us out the tournament. Williams College, they knocked us out, and he was a freshman. He was the, first team All-American as a freshman. They made the Final Four. He was a 6'7", 6'8" guard. Didn't miss a free throw. Didn't miss a three. Like, very poised. Like, you know what I mean? I think, like, if I could give any example of what it reminded me of, it was like playing against Kyle Anderson in high school almost.
Yeah.
If you recall, it was that kind of, like, Kyle was doing whatever he wanted, as slow as he wanted to do it, but he was getting it done.
Anywhere. Yeah, he was getting anywhere on the court, though.
Duncan Robinson was doing the same thing, bro. Dribbling up, doing it, catching it real poised, knocking it down. But I say all that to say, like, there is that 1,000 point moment that my teammate had, the celebration. I think every school, when they stop the game, that moment right there, like, whatever cameras are rolling that can capture that celebration where you come out, you bring the banner, you bring the little, your picture, your family comes out. That moment right there as an NFT, I think, if every player that got to that pinnacle, it was able to monetize that moment, and then you do it in the NBA. LeBron scores his 300 millionth point, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Passing Kareem,
you whatever this person breaks the assist record all time. This person breaks the rebound record. You start to package those moments up, So I'm just saying, for the people out there, y'all heard on the Black Idea Guy podcast, you know what I mean? We
here. It was here first.
Want to hear here first?
Yeah, I never even thought of it.
Never thought of
it.
Hey, this is why we here, brother. I'm here to just, these things I just sit in my mind and just process, bro. But I got to give them to the people that I know are gonna do something with them.
Yeah, because you definitely throw that into a package.
That's into your package instantly. Sure. Like, you're 1,000. If you reach this, and then you can incentivize players to say, hey, if you reach this, this is a bonus, right? Yeah. Like, it's sort of like, if you were creating a contract for a talent, they have certain clauses in their contract where, if they made the All-Star team, you get this bonus. If you make first team all league, you get this bonus. So, as in your stable, hey, if you score 1,000 points throughout your career, this is an additional incentive for you.
Right. And then you have it sponsored by DAP. And that's the way DAP pays into the collective.
Yeah.
Boom, they score 1,000, they get 1,000. DAP has 30-40% of the actual NFT. You rake your money back.
Boom.
They get an NFT.
Boom.
They get 1,000.
Boom. Just like that.
Happens quick.
Yo, that's what we doing, man. That's what we doing, man. I think, what's crazy is this was like the most fluent conversation that I think I've had on this show thus far. It was like very, very, like, very, it was
kicking it, man.
Kicking it, bro. And, like, bro, honestly, you're a whiz at this.
Trying to figure it out. I appreciate you.
For real.
Trying to figure it out.
You sharp with it. Because the thing is, I've listened to, like, no shade. I've listened to other people's podcasts on the topic leading up to my podcast with you. And, like, I think as new as the landscape is and as unsure as everybody else may be, you have a good grasp on what you're doing in it.
Yeah.
You know what you come into this ballpark with.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's really just important to just, just decide. And that's almost with any idea, with anything that you do. You just, I feel like this, or I'm not adamant, because it's more so of the belief behind it, and because I know there's still such a long road around about it. So it's just like, it's just day in and day out. I just got to keep, checking away at it and, keep learning and keep growing the relationship because the players are everything. You got to keep growing those relationships with those guys. And then, like I said, the businesses will come.
Any talent managers, agents, or like sports business executives that you kind of study or look to that's kind of killing it right now that you're like, yo, like, I'm doing my own thing, but I also keep close watch on this person that's kind of more established that is really cemented in that limelight, and I kind of want to someday tug on their coat.
Agent wise, there is shout out my guy Jared Mucha. He's over at Excel Sports. So, that's big agent company. And just
what talent? Who's some of their clients?
Anybody, like literally from the Dante Exums to let me pull this up. See if I can find
it. Excel Sports.
Yeah, Excel Sports. Yep. So my guy over there, they're out of New York. Yeah, him, and then of course the typical Rich Paul, just what Rich was able to do, and just how Bron was able to just put his whole camp on.
Crazy
was ridiculous. So
crazy.
Those two guys, and then everybody else, man. Like I said, I firmly believe in myself too. So I don't really like chasing too many or believing or watching other people because it might not always really work out the same way.
You think a lot of guys see, there's a stigma with being connected to athletes.
Here we go. Yeah, I got a couple bodies, man.
Oh yeah, Maul Murray. Yeah, okay. XL got every. Oh, okay. Hero, Tyler Hero.
They got a couple bodies.
Tyler, yeah, No Limit Hero in the game. Okay, yeah, they got everybody. Yeah, Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I've seen it. I like what he's doing, and he's personable. He allows me to ask questions. He allows me to just really connect with him. So
Destani Henderson. Okay, yeah, they got the female athletes up there too. Okay, I seen it.
So everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yo, that's dope. That's dope, man. I think what's crazy is and this is a last point as we unwind, but I think it needs to be said too, right? There's stigmas in everything. There's positives, negatives, there's pros, cons. And like I think one of the things that managing talent, right? You have this entourage kind of like atmosphere that's created where you have the LeBron, but then you got what they mentioned as the posse, right? And not every posse, right, or entourage are powerhouses like the Rich Pauls, the Maverick Carters, the Paul Riveras that Bron got. A lot of times these dudes don't really be packing as much like value as those guys add to LeBron's fold. So what could you say to anybody that's kind of just around the talent? Like, what could you say to the talent to be able to make the talent more aware of guys that may be in the entourage seeming like they're the Paul Riveras, Rich Pauls, and Maverick Carters to LeBron, but they not?
You got to actually put them to work, Like
how do they do that?
It's day-to-day stuff. Like if you know that you're in the gym, you're doing X, Y, and Z workouts every day. You if he wants to come along to the club, if he wants to come along when it's time to go dinner, and then you going to pay for that and keep it moving, he got to come with you to the gym too. He got to rebound, he got to guard you, he got to do those type things. It's and even furthermore when you're looking at reservations, if you know that your guys 9 times out of 10 isn't going to pay, it won't hurt for him to just call and make the reservation, or it won't hurt for him to call in and invite some of the vibes too. Like everybody you just got to notice, like you don't want to be around somebody, or you don't want to be somewhere where you're not adding any value.
Right.
And there's always something that does need to be done on the other side. Like the money side of it, that's taken care of. They're not worried about that. It's just the actual ins and outs, day-to-day stuff that if you're going to be there day-to-day and that's really your guy, you might as well look to see what you could do to pretty much lighten his burden so he could keep going to get 30 or keep doing whatever he need to do to get his money. Like it's just don't be that guy that's just around. And to those guys that are just around, you need to, if you're gonna be just around, y'all need to keep your nose clean, stay out of trouble, and just that. Make sure he is still just that hooper, just that athlete, and don't really just steer him down that wrong path. If you see that wrong path, it's okay to really detach and go the other way.
Yo, that's so powerful. It's profound. And I think a lot of times until guys watch this Black Idea Guy podcast and hear what you just said, they don't that thought isn't awakened in their mind to have it naturally in them to say, you know what, I'm not coming unless I'm valuable. Right. Don't bring me around unless I'm adding value here, or this is my value. This is what I'm going to do. And don't look at me or ever approach me as if I'm someone that's just happy to be here.
Right.
Because you got so many dudes that are just happy to be around.
Or just literally didn't have anywhere else to go. So they're still kicking it with their God. But that's okay. But within that, you do have to figure out, what can you do different? Even if it's just picking up a camera and now you documenting everything he's doing. That's fine. Next thing you know, that might land you something.
Right.
You might find yourself a hobby that might get you a job somewhere. So
Talk about it. Fact.
Stuff.
Fact. Yo, man, we've reached the final lap, and we really, this was a very fluent, natural conversation, bro. It's kind of crazy. Like I learned so much. I mean, and I think I know a little bit about sports, but what you just opened me up to, my thinking and the ideas that I could sprinkle into this new industry, NIL business, it's crazy, bro.
Word, for sure. Definitely appreciate it, man. Told you I had to get on here, man.
Of course.
I love what you were doing. I seen the one, shout out Youngblood. I seen the one with Bleez, and I'm like, that's fire, right?
It's what we doing.
Yeah.
Yo, I've had so much representation from St. Pat's.
Yeah.
On this platform. It's kind of, I'm no shade of playing field, goats and greats, but
right.
you know what I mean? I can honestly say that what my friends, right, as my friend, not just like a colleague or in business or a partner, as my friends, like what the extensions have given from the people from St. Pat's. I've had Darian on the show, got you on the show, I had Bleez on the show, and I'm like, damn, like, yo, St. Pat's really killing it. Like life after business, after sports.
Yeah, I got a Free You shirt on, right?
You got shout out to Free You.
Shout out, bro.
So like, it's just like, yeah, man, y'all whatever they was sprinkling on y'all in there, man. Like,
hey, yo.
Pause. My bad.
Crazy. I'm with you though.
Nah. So whatever was happening over there in that ecosystem, bro, y'all got it going on. Cause after sport, like now dudes are figuring it out in other realms, and it's beautiful to see, bro. Sure. It's beautiful to see. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Appreciate that.
So tell us, how can we keep in touch with you, stay up to stay up to speed with what you got going on, like what's coming up?
Right now, it's social media is still everything. You can always get in touch with me on social media. It's Real World Rell, little tongue twister. Real Normal World, normal then RELL. Sports management page is realworld.newrules, and that's on everything. Same thing with Twitter, Instagram. Everything's Real World Rell. Mm-hmm. Pushing that through. So that's me, man. That's me.
So your brand is Real World New Rules. What are some new rules that you're gonna say? These are what we're indoctrinating right here.
So one biggest thing is sticking to self. Never folding. Don't let the money get involved. Like, don't let that take you over. Like, stick to your main principles. In the philanthropy side of things, we really do want to give back, and we are about the community. And then any other rule, like I said, is that, like, what our slogan is, it's written by the players. Whatever they actually want to do and what they believe in, that's what we're gonna put our all energy into. So we let them write the rules.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I think with that being said, that's a good place to put a checkpoint on this right here. Just to give some ground housekeeping. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in to the Black Guy They Got podcast. Shout out to the team in house today. The boy homie G Luck, my boy LaTroy Watkins, PR extraordinaire over there. Yeah, man. This platform is exciting. This is my weekly therapy. This is my coming in and like letting all the things that happen throughout the week go out the window, and I'm talking about something. Get to hear my voice, and this is like it's therapeutic.
Fine.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got it's just so much going on. The energy is crazy here, brother.
Right.
So, man, still doing my branding and marketing thing. I'm starting to get my foot further into the real estate door. And if anybody has any questions or anybody wants to tap in with me and what we got going on, anybody want to tap into Rell, what Rell got going on, we're all here. We all in the same ecosystem. We all network and we all getting to the throne. Sure. And this is just another installment of the Black Idea Guy podcast. Shout out to everybody tuning in. And continue to follow us at Black Idea Guy Pod. You can check me out on the gram and my shenanigans at Mogul Make. And we gonna cut it right here.
So, my guy, appreciate you, man.
Yep. Well, it's the big show.